a way to not just have one project that you're investing in, but multiple avenues for success.
Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. We are at the New Orleans Investment Conference. And here were some new friends that I made last night. Was really interesting getting to know both of you. I have Chris Van Treeck, Greg Beischer over on my right from Millrock Resources. And one of the things that's nice about the conference is you get to meet a lot of the different companies, and it's really interesting talking with you guys last night. So I appreciate you joining me, and was hoping perhaps you could tell the audience a little bit about the company. And we have people who love gold and silver looking for ways to invest on the move. And so Chris, maybe you could start off for us.
Well, Millrock's a project generator company. So there's a portfolio of grassroots projects that we explore, spread the risk of discovery around. It's a way to not just have one project that you're investing in, but multiple avenues for success. So Greg can talk more about the history of the company that he started.
I should say that it's really, at this point, an Alaska-focused company. That's where Chris and I live. I live in Anchorage. He lives in Fairbanks. And we know our home state really well. Its geology and its mineral potential. We started the company in 2007, so we've been at this a while. We haven't made a huge discovery yet that's take our share price way up, but we're on to a really great project now. Our share price has already started to move up from 9 cents. I think we closed at 19 cents today. So we're on the move, and
it's always nice to hear.
There's some good underpinnings for the price move.
Yeah, and perhaps even before we get into the discovery, something you mentioned, diversifying things, and which can, like you said, be done even within a company. So you're not betting your whole bankroll on, hey, do we find it here or not? So perhaps you could touch on that, and then we'll get into the good news you guys have had.
Well, with the portfolio companies, portfolio of projects, we're able to bring in other companies to fund these. And so once again, we're not trying not to bet any of our shareholder money on it, but bring the idea, have other companies fund the exploration, and spread that risk out right there. And so by having multiple projects in the works, when one's partnered up, we're able to go and do some more generative work on some of the others and spend small portions of our bankroll, but do very strategic programs in order to gain a little bit more knowledge and bring some more information to help market those properties to potential partners.
Over the years, almost all the money for our exploration has come from other mining companies or other exploration companies. In fact, about 85% of the money has come from elsewhere. And so that's allowed us to be less dilutive to our existing shareholders. We're not always issuing stock to drill holes to test our geologist ideas. Most of that really expensive, high-risk capital comes from companies that can afford to lose the mining companies.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, in my first job was Moody's, Mickey Mouse bond rating. You see that still has AAA rating on the treasuries. Yet one of the things I found interesting, many of the deals I was looking at, they showed the syndication, which I would think for investors, when you have multiple partners that have expertise, it's a sign, all right, here's another set of well-trained, qualified eyes that have looked over what you're doing and say, all right, we want to put money in this. And also you get access to more intellectual capital and skill set as well.
Exactly. We've made joint venture agreements with some of the world's best, most respected mining companies, Teck, Vale, Kinross, First Quantum, and others. And every time we make one of those agreements, it's like a stamp of approval on Millrock's geologists' ideas. Though we've often, more recently, made agreements with junior mining companies. Now, we don't get that stamp of approval, but the reality is the shares that we take as part payment for a project could end up being very, very valuable. And we feel with a market moving in the right direction, that owning a good portfolio of junior shares is going to be beneficial to Millrock shareholders ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, and now we have negative yielding junk debt, so certainly the environment and the prospects for gold and silver, it's hard to imagine having more in your favor, and it's nice that there still is this opportunity that the move hasn't happened yet. So a good macro environment, which, you know, you match that with some intelligent planning, and sounds like you've had some good news recently.
Right. Yeah. So a project that Chris has really helped develop is in Alaska near the Pogo gold mine. It's a very good mine that produces several 100,000 ounces of gold per year. And we think there's going to be multiple mines in the general district called Goodpaster. And we own most of the mineral rights in that Goodpaster district now.
Right.
We made an early move about 6 months ago to acquire a huge land package. And we've also had some luck in that the operators of the mine have made a new discovery of gold northwest of the existing mine. And it looks like that new discovery is going to trend right on to claims that Millrock owns. And so we'll be drilling holes here pretty soon to see if that is indeed the case.
And Greg, I know you're a modest and humble guy. You called it luck, although I find what others often associate with luck is usually good planning and strategy and foundation that allows you, you know, to find good things out there. And Chris, seems like that's what you guys have been doing.
We had a vision, and we're able to take a lot of the information that has been produced in the district and take a broad view of it and integrate in some of the very recent updated exploration models that the mine and other geologists in the area, state geologists, USGS geologists have put together, and saw some opportunities in areas that other people have looked at before, but maybe not with the wide view. And I think that's really paying off right now, to be able to go out and acquire highly prospective ground with the full data set, looking at it as a whole, as opposed to small individual blocks, companies working in the dark. We were able to kind of pull back the shades and look at it all at the same time. So that's been extremely helpful and hopefully ultimately beneficial for everyone involved.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And perhaps one other thing I think is beneficial for folks when there are a lot of mining options out there, different companies that have different strategies. And one of the themes that I often see at these conferences, and I certainly believe in, at the end of the day, you know, anyone can buy a crane or a tractor, but it comes down to the people. And so it's just nice getting to know folks. I'm curious, maybe anything you can share. What got you into this? Of all the different things on the planet you could be doing, I know it takes a lot of passion to have the patience for this type of activity.
Well, in my own case, it was a little bit of luck. I wanted to do something outdoors, and ended up going to a school that taught mining technology and geology. And I spent my first summer.
Where was that?
That was in Haileybury, Ontario, in Canada.
Okay.
My first summer job was up in the Canadian Arctic. It was just a great adventure, and I was hooked. And now here, 40 years later, I find myself still having those same adventures, but now also highly involved in the financial side, raising the money so that we have the capital to go out and do this early stage exploration. You know, I'd like to touch on one point. You know, Millrock is not a mining company, and honestly, we don't ever intend to be one. Our goal as early stage exploration geologists is to make a giant discovery of a very valuable mineral deposit, which will make Millrock's share price rise very, very rapidly. Reward our shareholders. You know, and when you look at share price appreciation in that exploration cycle, that's where the most torque occurs. When the initial discovery is made, that's when you see a stock go from 10 cents to 20 cents to $1 to $2 and maybe $5.
Right.
And then once it's being delineated and into the permitting process, well, you know, there's a big long lag period there until production occurs. We hope to exit long before that. We want to be there for that initial discovery, reward our shareholders with multiple times price increase.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that sweet spot. So a good geologist, a nice friend to have in this business. And it does help out a lot. And like you said, when you get hooked on something, but just having the passion to, maybe that's what separates the success from failure, where it gives you that willingness to keep going even when you have things that don't go as you planned. And Chris, perhaps same question for you.
Well, I was fortunate enough to have a geology class in high school, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
So by the time I went to university, I was already hooked on all the different things you can do in geology, and came out of that looking for adventure and made my way to Alaska for graduate school, and been working, started bagging dirt as a junior geologist, and kept going at it. And it's always what's on the next hill, what's over here, having good times in the outdoors, and really getting to know interesting people and build things, whether it's flying a drill rig in from a barge to the top of a mountain and building the platform, or putting in roads and things like that, and working closely with the local communities to bring opportunities in there. Had many years of good relationships with people, watching them grow from somebody just cutting drill core into a supervisor, on projects. And it's been a really good time to make those connections and be out there with the groups of people that live out and don't have a lot of opportunities for any kind of advancement or even jobs when you get out to remote places.
And that's one of the nice things. I know there's this stereotype that sometimes goes around where it's the miners that are coming in taking resources, which does happen. There are, and that's unfortunate. Although I think that when done right, I mean, we're looking at resources that allow us to live and have the different things in life and technology that we're doing. And in my experience, it's when you're creating win-win situations for the community, for the, I mean, maybe it's possible for governments to win with it the way they think, but, for everyone involved, that's what I think actually allows these things to work well. One last question. You mentioned some of the key hurdles, and for the existing shareholders or for folks who might be new to the company, any key events coming up, or things you'd like to let folks be aware of to watch out for?
Well, we're progressing. We're doing what we said we would do. We had an idea, and it required a few more bits of information and a resistivity survey, and Millrock went out and did it prior to having any partners. We felt like it was a good strategic investment of the Treasury to get that, and that information allowed us then to take the next step now with a partner and prepare for drilling on the new discovery. And so we've got our permits in hand. We're building the road right now to reach the drill area and do it efficiently. And so we're very excited for the springtime when we'll be going out and doing the initial tests of these ideas. But I feel like it's a good idea. We've got a lot of information to back them up. And so I like to think of it as a win, not an if, as they mentioned in the conference here. But you have to be an optimist as an explorationist, or else you just shouldn't go out.
But really, these are the most exciting times. We've put a lot of work into preparing and analyzing all this information. But now it's time to learn if our hypothesis holds water. And so it's always a very exciting time, just before you could actually make that game-changing discovery.
I always think about that, where it's, you think about an athlete or someone who plays football, and one day they make it, there's that period of nerves building up. You wonder how you're going to react, and it's got to be some mix of nerve-wracking, exciting, terrifying, when you're actually saying, what do we find or not?
It really is all of those things.
Well, Greg and Chris, I appreciate you joining me. I really admire what you're doing, and perhaps in wrapping up, whoever would like to take it can just let folks know where they can get more information or contact you guys with questions.
Sure. You can find Millrock with Google quite easily, just Millrock Resources. You'll see contact information there for Melanie Henderson, who does our investor relations. You can contact her. She'll be glad to talk to you about the company, and if desired, to speak directly to Chris or.
Cool. Chris, any parting thoughts?
Well, it's been another great event here. It's always fun to hear about other companies and what people are interested in from an investor standpoint. also to get our message across. We've had great feedback, and it's been exciting to hear people looking at our idea and saying, "No, that is a good idea."
Yeah.
So it's been a long time getting to this point, but it's been a lot of fun as well. So
It's been heartening too to see the change in the mood.
Yeah.
You know, from prior years, people really, I think, understand and believe that the bull market in precious metals is here, and it's really going to start to advance. We've been waiting a long time. It's been 6 tough years. We're really lucky.
Longer than that, and in terms of the bullion pricing, we're year 8 now. It's coming up 8.5. But again, that's one of the things that's nice to see, when really a great message to leave folks, where you do something you're passionate about, you stay with it, and then when the good times come, it's exciting to see how it'll look when we come back here next year. So
Yeah.
Chris, thanks for
Thanks,
joining
Chris.
me. Greg, and we'll have that contact information below so you can find out more about Millrock.